Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Race. We're going to talk about how to read and understand poetry today. So you're going to look at your infographic. It's in everybody's OneNote file, our class notebook. So the first thing you want to do, as with anything we read, you want to preview it. And with previewing a poem, that means you're going to look at the title. You're going to pay attention to the form, the shape of the poem, the stanzas, or as I like to call them, poetry paragraphs. How many lines are there and how many lines are in each stanza? And then always look at the ending punctuation. And you'll notice for number 4, I want you to highlight the punctuation because I really want you to pay attention to how poets use it purposefully. So once you've done making notes about the number of lines, the stanzas, the shape, and the ending punctuation, I want you to read the poem to yourself. And as you read the poem to yourself, you're going to look for and identify and define unfamiliar words. Again, this is like anything that we read, because if we don't understand basic meaning, we won't understand what we're reading. 4, I already touched on, highlighting punctuation. Number 5, you're going to look for figurative language. And what that is similes, metaphors, personification, hyperbole, and there's lots of others as well. You're going to circle the figurative language, and in the margins, you want to write down what you think it means. And also, why do you think the author used it? Now here comes the interesting part for poetry. Poetry is really meant to be listened to. So what you need to do is find a partner, and if you don't have a partner, then you can do this by yourself. But you want to read the poem aloud several times so you can hear the rhythm, the rhyme, the overall sound of the poem. You want to pay attention to the punctuation as you read because it's there for you to pause. Commas are brief pauses. Periods and semicolons, dashes, those are long stops. You want to pay attention to that because the author is using those to create the rhythm and the meter and how the poem should sound. Stressing certain words also is a way that poets can use punctuation. So as you're listening to the poem, you want to visualize the images by paying close attention to the strong verbs and on the comparisons and the figurative language. And then you want to ask yourself, do those images remind you of anything? And then let that comparison paint a picture in your head. Poetry is strong images, really trying to get you to visualize something. And then finally, you want to ask yourself, what is the point of this poem? What does the author want me to take away from this? What does he want me to understand? What does she want me to understand? And does it relate to your life in any way? Remember, I talked about those connections when we read. Try to connect it to your life in some way.